Good afternoon and welcome. Welcome to Finding the Joy in the Journey. I'm Gina Krupka, and I am blessed to be the host of this wonderful show about finding joy. And today we're going to talk with somebody wonderful and just such a joy in her own presence. And one of my favorite topics, which is love. So, before we get to our guest, I want to just share with you what this show is about. Finding the joy in the journey is literally recognizing joy. It's not about creating it, even, it's realizing it's already there. Yes, we get to create happiness in our lives, we get to recognize it. But joy is an inherent quality that is divine. It is unchangeable. It is part of our makeup in the same way that love, peace, wholeness they're all divine attributes, and it is part of who I am, who each one is as an individualized expression of that wholeness. And this show is talking about different ways, different modalities, different things to do and how to create more happiness and joy, because they're not necessarily the same thing. Happiness can be changed, happiness can be there or not. Something can make you happy, but joy is always inherent. So, we're going to talk about today love. And our guest today is actually a friend of mine who I love and is just so kind hearted and pure love in herself. She is a love relationship coach and has been coaching for 8 years now. And she is just a joy. She helps, especially women, find their beloved, find their soulmate. And she has so much fun doing it. I know a lot of people in or out of relationships that are not feeling that bliss, and when they talk about it, they're not joyful. So whether you're choosing to be in a relationship or choosing not to, we're talking about being an joyful relationship with ourselves first and then someone else. So this is a journey we're going to go down today, and I am so excited. Joanne Sapers, thank you so much for being here. And I know you have done so much in your years of, I know you're a certified coach through Mary Morrissey's Mastery Institute, that I know. And you've done over 30 different programs and, emotional and self-development programs, as well as being a Reiki master. And I know, you started in a professional background where you were in sales and marketing for years and decided, no, this is the holistic approach that I'm meant to be in. And here we are today, years later, and I've never seen you happier, and it is a blessing to be here with you. Welcome to Finding the Joy in the Journey.
Thank you, Gina, so much. And as you have said, everyone knows now we're friends. And I just love you and It is all about love. And I love how you were sharing about the joy and how it has to be, it comes from within. It's already here. We don't need to manufacture anything, we are created with it. And to allow that love of self, and that's what you and I were talking about early, to allow of that love of self to really nourish oneself with this divine creator, whatever someone chooses to call it. And that's where my life is, and that's what I see, and that's what I love to teach and just experience, because it is all about expecting the good, expecting to see and to feel and to know love in each and every experience on some level.
You know, it's we attract what where we're at. It's all vibrational, and we know that. And it's so important. And we'll get into all of that. But I wanted to start with, if you could, I'd love for you to share with us. And I want to just mention to people that we are live so they can ask questions accordingly. What brought you to being a relationships coach? How did you end up in this place? What made you decide that this is what you wanted to do?
It was very interesting because I didn't even know I was being groomed in life to be a relationship coach. And it was because I was making choices that did not serve me best. That's how I can say it. And that helped me to create such a loving, loving relationship with this infinite creator that I call God. And it's from what people call mistakes. And I don't believe anything is a mistake. It's from what people think of as a mistake that the healing and the revealing of each one's truth comes forth in how we are meant to be here on earth. And I believe that becoming a love relationship coach found me based on the healing work necessary to do so I could be so happy and grateful and be here to serve God in the way that I feel cherished to it and led to.
And it's got to be so fun to see people in that state, because I know for me, I think that there's no better feeling that I can remember ever experiencing than that feeling of being in love. So, you know, what is that like for you to be working with people in that place?
Oh my God, it is pure joy. It is, it's fun regardless of where the person is because I become the partner in believing and I'm knowing what their journey, what they get to expect from their journey by surrendering to that part of themselves that is divine love and lovable and ready to receive. And that's what I can do. I can help them because it's already them. It's all, like you were saying with your beautiful, beautiful beginning, which I absolutely love and adore, how you were talking about joy, because each one of us is here to love ourselves and to respect ourselves and to forgive ourselves, because in truth that's where the healing is. And and then and then to be able to keep, I mean, I see so much joy everywhere. We were talking about joy. The more healing work we do in forgiveness of oneself, forgiveness of all, we're free to just have fun and play and
Absolutely.
laugh and love.
And I always have the first question I always ask people to is, or one of the first questions at least, is what brings you joy
Oh my God,
personally?
so much, so much. Being a nana and a grandma JoJo. Dave and I have three grandchildren, and playing with them, and one of our grandchildren, she's only 7 months. I had to think for a minute because every month goes by so quick, and
Does.
everything is so new. And we have a 2.5 year old and almost a 7 year old, and seeing them really open up to life, to the mysteries and the excitement of life and the learning, and watch them learn and receive. So that is pure joy. I'm a walker in the morning, so watching the sunrise early in the morning, get my 10,000 steps in 7 days a week, that's joy because it's a commitment I make from my heart. And absolutely what I do, helping women and my relationship with Dave and my relationship with my 96-year-old mom and friends and everything in life. There's so much that brings me joy. And now, even the part that feels painful, because I know the other side of it, where we know there's only one side. I know that because I had to learn how to feel feelings. And by learning how to feel feelings, I have learned how to love deeper. So that brings me joy.
There's so much to unpack in what you've just said, but I want to go back to the children. I'm a firm believer, we were all born knowing, and then the adults take it all out of us. We tell them what's safe, what's not, we tell them how to grow up and that it's time to grow up and all that goes along with that. And it's so important that we remember that, they know something we don't know. They know that fun, they know how to express joy. And when they're not happy, they know how to tell us about it. And that also is a beautiful thing. And, I think there's so many ways that we can find, you know, that within us. And love is a great way. You can see in my background, as always, is my love pillows. And it is something, my two favorite words are joy and love. And I don't know which one comes first. I don't know. But if you ask me the meaning of life and why we're here, that is the purpose of life, is to love, because I believe everything is love, and experience the joy of that love, both in giving and receiving. That's what I truly believe. And there's different ways to go about that. And I'm sure there's going to be people that watch this and are in relationships that are happy and joyful. And I've known plenty of people in my life. My parents divorced when they separated when I was 7, and I was devastated. And I know so many people that have had, if you're lucky, it's a 50% chance, and that's so sad but true. And of those 50% of marriages that make it, how many of them are happy? How many people are constantly complaining? And I am blessed to say that my husband is the best thing that ever, as far as for me in my life, the greatest gift. He's helped me find myself, and helped in so many ways. So as a partner, it can be that way, in so many ways. It doesn't mean it's always that way. So that's why I think what you do is important too. It gives people hope. So I wanted to chat with you. When someone comes to you, and I know you're used to, you work mostly with women, and when someone comes to you and is feeling helpless or hopeless, how do you help them?
First of all, I love everything you just said. I love the joy. I love hearing about you and your wonderful sweetheart and how that relationship has served you. And I love how love and joy are so important to you because your heart and my heart speak that language. And I know that's the friendship and the connection and the deep service here on earth for both of us.
And I have my light brighter because someone else helps with that. We're meant to need each other. Like babies cannot live without touch. We are meant to live in. And I always say, if there's one thing I say about my husband, is he honors me. I truly believe he honors me. He sees me. He sees and knows the best of me on the days that I don't. And he has seen me through some of my ugliest. And I know for you, you have someone also that is there that loves you and honors you.
Fifth marriage, let's call it what it is. And we just started our 10th year. I know you always laugh when I say that.
I do always laugh, and it's so funny because you say it like it's nothing. Oftentimes, we'll be in mid conversation. You'll say, "Well, my third husband, such and such, my fourth husband, such and such," like it was a normal thing. But you just love.
That's it. And I'm grateful. What I do want to say is my parents were together for 72 years, which is a long time. That's because dad transitioned to love and light at 99. And that was so I came from that relationship of mom and dad, even though there was abuse that took place, not from them, from someone else, for the first 10 years of my life. So I share that only because of the healing that has taken me through. So that was the gift of that abuse, and I wanted to share that because that's big.
Trauma has so much effect, especially childhood trauma, has tremendous effect on our relationships. And I mean, that could be more than an episode on its own. We could definitely go into, there's a lot of healing that sometimes needs to happen in order for people to attract the right person. But I'm going to go back to the question that I
And I'm going
asked.
to answer it. I
I would,
wasn't avoiding it.
somebody comes to you and somebody asks you, okay, I've been looking, I'm discouraged, I want to meet my soulmate. How do I do that?
I'm going to answer your first question first because this morning I was working with a client from England, and she is challenged right now in her marriage. And we were talking about it, and she was coming to me because she didn't know she wanted to have hope. That's really what it was. And I asked her specific questions. And the gift we got out of this, because that's what I want to share, is by someone asking the right questions from that place of heart, she was able to feel that it is about her first. She can go back to herself before making a specific decision about the relationship, because how we feel about ourselves, and this is makes all the difference in the world with the relationship we're in. So so the
It
level of
truly
hope,
does.
right? The
Well,
level
we
of
bring
hope.
us to the party. How fun is the party if we're miserable, and if we're attracting at the vibration we are.
And it's about forgiveness, exactly. Because for her, she's resenting and she's angry about stuff from the past. And I can understand that. Been there, done that. And where I was able to take her is what if she puts her attention on herself and not having to make a decision about the marriage now, and seeing where she allows herself to be, to get to a place of feeling that divine love even stronger, that relationship with spirit. And from that place, see what happens, see what's going on with her partner, her husband, see what transformation takes place. Because for me, until it's 100%, I know what I want to do, it means I don't know exactly what I want to do yet, and spirit's going to guide.
And that is so important because I always tell people in any kind of coaching that I've done, you take you with you. So if you're going to walk away from whatever circumstance it is really important that it's the other person or the other thing, or that my daughter wanted to move to Florida, and I'm like, you take you with you. Oh, I know. And she packed up her life and her three children and all that went with it and was back in 2 months.
Mm.
And it wasn't in the case of, there's no, I'm happy to see you, thrilled to see you back, don't get me wrong. And thankfully they were little enough that it didn't really affect them as far as in a lot of ways. But the truth is, you take you with you. If you're not happy here, you're not going to be happy there. If you're not happy in this relationship, make sure you heal and figure out what's the why before you move on to the next. And how many times have we known people that they honestly date the same person again and again and again. They find people because they're attracting people that disrespect them and don't give them what they think they want, because whether it's conscious or subconscious, they don't feel worthy of it.
I know. I know. And that's the gift that comes from those unhealthy relationships, right? Because it takes us to a place that we wouldn't go to when we have healthy relationships. So that's how, and I laugh when I'm saying, and I know it's painful. The growth part is really feels the experience of pain and uncomfortable and fear pops in, and yet the willingness to really learn how to honor ourselves, to put ourselves first when it comes to our self-care and self-love and self-worth and self-respect.
Mm. And
That's
that's the
where the
biggest
power
thing.
lies, and that's
That's
where
the
we're talking.
self-respect.
Yeah.
And for anybody that's just joining us, I want to make sure people know we are live and we are here with Joanne Sapers, and she is a love relationship coach. And we have any questions that you may have, just type them into the comments. We would love to hear from you. So, now again, somebody comes to you and says, "What am I doing wrong?"
To answer that question, I asked them, what is going on right now for you? Was it ever different with this person? What is it that you
I'm
feel?
saying I'm saying not even just like the relationship we
Oh,
just
okay.
described. I'm saying like somebody new can't
Okay.
find, they've dated all the wrong people, or they have can't find someone. How do you encourage them? What would you suggest are people that are watching, if either they're meeting the wrong ones, or they're not meeting anyone? How
Well,
do you encourage them?
you're gonna kind of laugh at this because that came up yesterday when I was talking to a client, someone new, and it was just someone that was wanting to work with me. So I said, "What could I hear what you have on your profile?" Because she and I then asked questions about it. I said, "It doesn't sound like you. Where's the joy? Where's the love? Where's the
Mm.
fun? Where's the desire?" It was I. And it was coming from a place of such fear of attracting the wrong energy. And she told me, I've been meeting guys and they've been very disrespectful. And I said, well, what about, and we made some changes in it. And it was coming from that place of unconditional love of self. And I think, does that answer your question? Because it has to come from us knowing, and sometimes we don't exactly know because we haven't been in a healthy relationship. So we have to go to that place like, if I believed I could be in a healthy relationship, what would I want?
I I love vision boards, and I've done workshops on, as far as creating that divine partner. And I always encourage people. I love the exercise of getting a gift box or a gift bag, and every time you think of something you want that person to be, put it in there, and be mindful that it's not in a sad way that they're not there now, but in an excited way of when they are, how good it's going to feel. And I tell people everything, and I mean, think about things like, and it's not about finding someone rich. I guess for some people it is, but you do want them to be able to financially take care of themselves at least. And perhaps, whatever, wherever you are in life, it's going to be different. And if spirituality is important to you, put that in there. If vacations and travel is important, put that in there. When you see a couple on a bench and they're holding hands, and that makes your heart just like, oh, put it in there. Every time that you get a feeling of, I'd really like to share this with someone, you put it in there. and you put it in a beautiful gift bag or box, and all of these attributes, knowing that spirit is putting the right and perfect, already has that perfect person available. And the more joyful expectancy that's there, the more you're creating and manifesting this. And others can't, what's meant for you must come to you. And
Mhm.
it's putting yourself, Ernest Holmes calls it the mental equivalent. So we are creating the mental equivalent of what I choose. And what will that look like? And, for me, I get it. It's funny because my husband always wanted red hair and green eyes. And here I am. And, and he called me Green Eyes from the first day that we met. And the truth is, I didn't have green eyes. I had hazel eyes until the day I met him.
Isn't that
And
wonderful?
my eyes have been green ever since. So you talk about how meant to be and manifestations are. I mean, you really can't see from where I am, and I'm not going to go up on the camera or anything. But my license says Hazel, and it always was, and ever since they've been green. So you know, anything and everything is possible.
I love that. I love that because I agree. I love that visioning with the gift bag and having it be so special. That expectancy of love, like here it is.
Like Christmas morning, like
It's there every
wow.
single day, and every day the person gets to add to it and open it up and then put more things in there, maybe take something out. Who knows, right? Just
A
making it
romantic
just right for them.
maybe you want a romantic cruise.
I love it.
Maybe you want to you've all something you've always wanted to do. I mean, I know when I growing up, I remember one of the things I always saw and loved was the horse and buggy rides. And going on that, was exciting. And it's like finding what is it that when you see it, your heart sings.
Mm.
And what do you want in someone also?
At this time, so that's the difference. Can I interrupt you for a second?
Yes.
So many of my clients, when they start, they don't realize it when they go through their list of categories and qualities. They're not thinking about who they truly are in this new now moment. They've grown. They've done a lot of personal work and growth work, and they're still kind of wanting so a little bit of judgment on my part, and I own it, a little bit more on the physical than who they want. So I help them to really connect to the heart, kind of like what you're saying with that bag. What what some of my clients have done is they've created recordings saying like, "Oh my God, Joanne, wait till I tell you about this person I met," and it's kind of like that gift bag full of he's this and he's that, and we communicate this way, and this is how I
Exactly.
feel in my heart, because it is about the heart. It's about the heart. It's about the full self, physical, emotional, spiritual, financial, and intuitive, all wrapped up in that gift bag that you said. So I love that. Love that.
How
Love
do
that.
they treat you? Like I would never in my life have thought about, but he truly, I feel like he honors me. And for me, the guide was I had one uncle that that always called his wife the bride.
Mm.
And he was different because I grew up in an Italian household, and all my family was primarily Italian, and there were a lot of spoiled Italian men out there. I'm not making judgment, I'm just saying my personal experience. And this uncle wasn't. He was married into, and he would get the car for her,
Mm.
and he took his daughter home early so that she could stay and enjoy herself. And
Mm.
it was when growing up, that wasn't something that was done. you know he truly did honor her, although I didn't know that language, but he did. And that's what I wanted someone that treated me that way. And and there's a lot of different attributes that makes him very different from. So be particular. I tell people, be specific.
See, I say that so.
Be particular with what you're asking for, because if spirituality is something that is, then you want to put that in the bag.
And I'll give you a great example of this. I have to tell you, and I forget where I heard it, and I just laughed hysterically about it. Somebody wanted to have a guy that had a boat.
A
So she
boat.
a boat. So she envisioned the boat, a beautiful boat, and she had the color and this and that. She never got specific, and he had model boats, is what he had.
So she, exactly. How funny is that? But you know what? She met him and she knew, because you know what? She'd been talking about boats. So be specific with your, and it may sound silly to people, but really we are vibrating at a level, at a frequency. And if we want to hear rock music, we don't turn on a rap station. If we wanted to hear country music, we don't turn on, the oldies. You go to the frequency of what you're expecting. And that's what we're talking about, and we are in New Thought, and we talk about that in everything. It's so important that we remember that that is also relationships. Yes, meeting someone new, feeling worthy enough, and creating that. And also, as it goes on, it does change, and there's different challenges. You can love someone but not be in love with someone. And that's also sometimes, I wouldn't say fades, but it changes. And the respect is as important as the passion. It's a different kind of thing as you go through life stuff, and the humanness comes out.
And about that, I feel that my women that are at a different age than 20, 30, or 40, we'll say it that way, the idea of meeting a man that's going to respect, love, cherish, and they're going to like each other. So they like this man and he likes it. And that's more important than ever, because
Yeah.
we are not our bodies. We have this spiritual.
Intimacy starts here. Intimacy absolutely starts in our mind. Then it goes to our hearts, and then it goes to the body. That's what intimacy is. Love is about intimacy. It's not about, it certainly has nothing to do with sex. You may enjoy it, that's part of, but it's another activity just like other things are. But one does not have anything to do with the other. And it's important that we, as a society, it's so muffled, and there's so much that's happened. It's important to be the witness, I think,
The
in every
observer.
aspect of life, is to witness it. Because I think that that often has, we're not there to judge it. Whatever you do or don't do, that's up to you. But what are you really looking for? And, sometimes there are those that are looking for just that, and you meet up with them and you're not, and that's not the right frequency. So when you are in tune with what it is you are, who you are, and what you want.
And honoring it, right? Honoring that frequency, and being, we haven't talked that much about it yet. I know this is so big in your heart, is gratitude. Grateful for what is, grateful for who you are, grateful for the lessons you're receiving, so you can move into your personal growth, into a deeper relationship with spirit, into being more gentle and loving with yourself, so you can be more gentle and loving with the world.
you know we were talking, and you said one of the things that you could encourage people to do is have their own readiness. And what that means, you were saying that most people don't know themselves. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Most people don't realize how much power they have when they honor who they are. And there's parts of us, and I'm a woman, so I can really just speak from a woman perspective. That's There's part of us as women that there were parts that we really liked, and we didn't feel safe expressing it because we didn't get the right response in another relationship. And
Mm.
yet that's the part of who we are that we love being. It could be that childlike, you and I were talking about childlike earlier before we started, and that place is so full of aliveness and welcoming the good and the expectancy of the joy and the love and surprises of these of the love made surprises. And when we hold back, again, as women, when we're not letting ourselves be who we truly are and want to be, and yet we're scared to be, and we don't take those steps. And the only way I know to take those steps is surrender to this divine spirit, this infinite creator, universal law, and allow, and then take the action step. Scary. So we take the fear. Here, take my fear, because I'm not used to being me. I'm not used to claiming what I know I really want in life, whether it's the physical, the emotional, the spiritual, the financial, or the intuitive. Relationship, career, financial doesn't make a difference. It's all one. So as a woman is saying yes to herself and not saying yes to her past.
Mm.
So allowing that past, like you were saying, be the observer, the witnesser, allow yourself to forgive, have healthy boundaries that maybe you didn't have in your past. I know I didn't have some. There were many
That's
times I
important.
didn't.
That's huge. Healthy boundaries are absolutely huge. And I want to just let people know again, we are live and we are here with love coach. Our love relationship coach, Joanne Sapers, and this is her email, and I will show it again at the end, of course. But this is your email, and this is your website, pathways to relationships.com. And I want to make sure people have an opportunity to look at that and send that to whoever it may be, whoever needs it. And I know you've worked with so many people, and I can remember for myself the loneliness of
Mm.
wanting to be in a relationship and not meeting that person, and whether it be that the first dates didn't go well or not even getting going there, whatever it may be, that loneliness attracts more of itself. So it is so important. One of the things you had said to me was to use it as a guide.
Use it as a guide to allow spirit to guide you to feel its love, because that love of the divine is who we all are. And the loneliness versus alone. Like we can be alone and feel full inside of love, right? Yet loneliness is coming from that place of experiencing quote unquote lack, like not having enough. And yet its purpose for me is for us to take action. So we can allow, whether it's a friend, a family member, whatever it is, new connections, anything to, and it's a proactive energy that has to be taken, which is the difficult part because it's a within. It's coming from within, proactive, within to the outside. And someone just saying, well, you know what? I'm feeling lonely, and yet I'm going to give of myself and serve from my heart. I'm going to be me. And
And
that's where the freedom can come in, because all of
absolutely.
a sudden the gifts come through.
And it's also witnessing it in the sense of it's an experience, like being sad or being hungry or being mad or whatever it might be. It's an experience of, it's a feeling. It's not who anyone is. So it's just like a diagnosis. It's not real. You don't own it and you don't want to claim it. you know I don't, I have this. No, I'm experiencing. If you're experiencing a headache or you're experiencing whatever a diagnosis may be, is not the truth of who you are. So it's important that we, when people say, oh, I have terrible luck in relationships, well, if you keep saying that, you will fulfill that prophecy. And I remember the first time I ever had that awareness was the movie The Secret.
Mm.
For me, that opened, I hadn't found new thought yet, and that opened my eyes to a whole different way of looking at it. And I always encourage people that if you haven't seen it, to go see it. Or it's actually, I think it's even like on Netflix, and the streaming services have it now. But it really gives that idea of, we are setting forth, it's all of a vibrational universe, and we are setting forth what it is you know what we're transmitting is what we receive.
And exactly as you're saying, intention. What intention are you putting forth from your thoughts and your beliefs? And I love what you were saying about the experience. I am experiencing this. It is not who I am. And so
Absolutely.
I I did learn too, which I love this. This was from Dr. Robert Anthony. He used to say, I'm doing so therefore I can undo. And I love that because it's not I am, it's not the I am as we're saying the I am present. So I'm doing, like I apostrophe M, doing, so therefore I can undo because it's in that physical realm.
Absolutely, anything I create, I can create something different. I
Exactly.
know what I don't want. If you've had a bad relationship, great. You know what you don't want. That's great. So what do you choose instead? Not, I don't want this, I don't want this, because you're focused on this, but what do I choose? And that's where that gift bag comes up, and that feeling of excitement, like it's a Christmas gift that you can't wait to see. And it's that enthusiasm, and it's keeping that and doing the next right thing, and honoring yourself, and not waiting in a way of, because sometimes when we're waiting for something good to happen, it's almost like something's wrong and missing, and we're sad. We have to be mindful of how that works. So be in joy, because when we're in joy, more things come. What we're focused on, and if we're focused on lack, more lack comes. So if you have friends and you have wonderful relationship in your friendships, focus on that. That's what I encourage people. Share love, share feeling good. The more you feel good, the more you attract things to feel good about, even if it's not in that area that you're looking for.
That's exactly right. I love what you just said because it also helps someone. When you were talking about, I don't want this, I don't want this, I don't want this, the gift of that, and I point this out to women that I'm talking to, the gift of that is you know what you don't want. So it's really telling you and directing you to what you do want if there is such polarity, if that did exist.
Of
And
course
yet,
it does.
right, it exists in humanness. It
If
exists in
there is yin, there's a yang.
exactly. So it lets someone know, oh, I really do want that. And then it's, well, if you do want that, what would it feel like to receive that?
And if you see someone that has that, if it's available for one, it's available for all. That's the
Absolutely.
other thing. There's no jealousy there. It's simply the awareness that, look, it does exist. If it happens for them, I'm no different. I too can have this. It's not luck,
Right. It
you know.
already belongs to everybody. Right.
Yes, love is available to all. It is inherent without a doubt, and find ways to act in kindness. Bring about more joy in your life. And the more you do that, the more that it flows back. And I'm going to give you an example today. I told you about this earlier. Something made my day today, and I want to share it. A friend of mine that I had sent a card, and it is going through a lot, and she sent me these today. It showed up on my doorstep today, and I walked in and I was so happy.
Mm.
Who in your life could use a smile? And I sent a card and I got flowers. It's not about what you get, it's about being thought of. So send your love, whatever form you have, you send your love out to people, family, friends, children, grandchildren. Love is love, and that it attracts more love. It's a frequency. It's not that it's something different. Love is love. So share the love that you have. Don't say yeah, but yeah, but yeah, but don't limit anything.
And allow it. I love what you just said, because when I'm out walking every morning, and that's usually when I'm out walking, and I'm waving to people, my heart is wide open. And I get waves back, and people know, oh, that's she's the one that has her fanny pack on and her hat and her sunglasses.
Because
And
she does this in snow
it's
and the
6:30 in the morning.
90-degree weather.
And the goal is, and I don't do it, what I can really love about myself is I'm perfectly imperfect. I no longer have, I let this infinite creator be the spirit, and I do my very best. And and yet, my vision is that when I'm out, and that's free, right? It's not about money, it's not about where we live, it's not about anything other than we're all human. We get to wave, we get to smile, we get to truly express love, like you were just saying. Like your friend sent you that beautiful, beautiful smile. I love that. I love that. And I have a SpongeBob thing up in my house, here in my office, that I look at because it brings me joy. Talk
Yeah.
about joy. So any way that we can serve from our heart, which is different for everybody, because we're all unique with the way we express ourselves and are meant to express ourselves with love.
The Science in Mind magazine yesterday was talking about the difference between a vocation, your job, and an avocation.
Mm.
So, what is your passion? And clearly, you're passionate about love, Joanne,
Being
and
love.
and
I,
for
I
me,
had I had a near death experience, and
yes,
I died
please
for 4 minutes.
share because that changed and helped bring this about. So, I'd love for you to share that with us, if you don't mind.
Absolutely. I was not listening to my inner guidance. I can tell you that. And I've been married a couple of times, and then I was engaged, and I've been engaged twice. And this specific person I was engaged to, he turned his suicide self, which became 1 month before his divorce was supposed to be finalized, onto me. So without going into the specifics, I died for 4 minutes. And I saw that white light, Gina. I saw that white light. And I heard, it's not your time. You have service to do. And I was turning 40 years old at that time. And I gently, gently, like a soft pillow, like a soft um, cloud, went back into my body. And so this is the service I'm meant to do here on earth. It's more than a vocation. It's my heartfelt honor and responsibility to serve, because it brings me pure joy. It brings me gratitude. It brings me peace of heart to know that I'm helping someone. It's not about them becoming a client. It's about serving this infinite creator in whatever way I'm meant to.
And one of the gifts of that is it's not about making them a client or anything like that. God is my employer. That's how I look at it. And it's funny because I've been saying that for years, and yet here, I'm in the process of becoming a minister.
I know.
I've just finished
Congratulations.
finished ministerials here, but it's so funny because really God is my employer. I set that intention years ago, and I have to say, when you work for people, they don't like you saying that so much. Most people are not, because I did say that to my boss one time. Didn't go over well. Didn't have the job long, so it's one of those things.
Congratulations.
Because the mindset that we have, it creates. So my evocation was not didn't mix with where I was, and things changed. And your near death experience showed you it's time to change what you're doing, how you're doing it, and it was your catalyst to change your life. Sometimes it's losing a job, sometimes it's the end of a relationship that changes everything. And things sometimes have to fall apart before they can be built back together. And We've all known people that have gone from one relationship to the next, to the next, to the next. And the question is, do they even know themselves? Some people are afraid to be alone. So there's all different aspects of, and it's not that one is right and one is wrong, but love is certainly a tremendous path to joy in all kinds. And while you talk mostly about romantic love, I know all relationships are important to you. And we get the opportunity to model who it is we want to be.
And I
And
want to be that person
yes,
that is unconditionally loving, that has healthy boundaries, that is respectful, that is non judgmental. And I can only be that way if I have my relationship with God. If God is my employer. So I love that. My 99-year-old dad, when I said to him, he was like 98 or 97, Dad, talk to me about your relationship with God. He said to me, God, I ask God, what do you want me to do? He tells me, and I do it. And that's how he said it. Imagine that.
and he spent his whole life in joy. He was a joyful man,
And
a
especially,
very peaceful and
mm,
joyful man.
mm,
And that's the thing, is that when if people have what you want, ask them how they got it.
yes.
Even relationships, ask how they got it. How did and it's not about, you know, I, I've known there's dating sites, some work, some don't. Some people find relationships through friends, some don't. It doesn't matter the how. When it's meant for you, it will come to you, as long as we're open and we're matching it in the vibration. It's important that we know that. And I'm a true believer of that. And it's this is a wonderful topic. And if there's things that you would want people to know, if they're let's start with, if they're in a relationship, what are a couple of things that you just want people to know to keep them healthy?
If you're in a relationship, get a little bit more specific for me.
What are some tips?
Okay. Are you
What's
taking care of yourself? That's the
mhm.
first tip. Are you deepening your relationship with this infinite creator, with these universal laws? Are you seeing the good within you when you look in the mirror? Are you loving yourself? Because when you love yourself, you can love others. Are you expecting to see the good in others? Are you serving from your heart? Are
Mm,
you knowing that everything is working out regardless of how it looks? Right?
how powerful is all of that?
Yeah.
And if somebody is not experiencing the relationship that they would choose, what do you what do you offer for suggestions there?
Well, there's so much here on the internet. I ask them to ask themselves to go within and say, what is it I would like? Would I like support from a friend? Would I like support from a family member? Would I like to find a coach? Would I like to find a therapist, a counselor, a minister? What is it that would serve me? And then be listening because their intuition knows what's right for them.
Mm,
And to be open, just to be open for their journey and say, I'm open for my highest good. So I can show up for my highest good and to trust.
mm.
Like there's never been a time, Gina, that I've trusted God, source, spirit, whatever I want to call it, that I haven't received comfort. Like, and direction and in action. Sometimes the biggest action I've heard is there's no action to take. Sit,
Be still and know.
be still and know and trust.
And it doesn't mean it always feels comfortable.
That's right.
And it's trusting. That's what faith is about.
That's
That's truly what it's all about. And it's not about a fairy tale, and it's not about, what we think it should look like. it's truly a feeling, and it's a knowing, and it's a trust and a faith. So I love this topic, and I really appreciate you bringing it forth. And is there anything else that you'd like to, you know, I'm going to show people your contact information again. This is Joanne Sapers, and it's pathways to relationships.com. She is a love relationship coach, and Joanne at pathways to relationships.com is her email. Any last minute, anything that you'd like to
There
share?
is. There is. One of the things that I'm feeling guided to do is to offer a free 1 or 2 free sessions. And for any, and they're love relationship coaching sessions.
Yep.
And it's all about the person I'm talking to. That's all it's about. And
Okay.
any way that I can serve, feel free to, and this is for women because I work with women. That's just the way it is.
Well, you know who you help
And
best.
that's right. That's because as I help the women, their relationship with the man moves in the way that serves everybody.
Okay.
So that's why I do that.
So this is your email address, and
That's my
how
email.
wonderful, and thank you for that. So anybody that's watching, if you would love an opportunity for a free love coaching session, reach out to Joanne at pathways to relationships.com. There's the email address, and I thank you.
And let me know that you saw this here on Gina's beautiful joy program, Finding the Joy, which you are pure joy, Gina. So thank you so much for
Thank you.
letting me serve anyone that this has helped. I am grateful.
I
I
am
am
so grateful for the conversation, and I also am grateful for New Thought Media Network for being here. I want to make sure people know that they can reach me if they have any questions or comments or suggestions, even for topics of joy, finding that joy. You can reach me at Gina at believeinouttoday.com.
And if I
And
can add one more thing,
yes,
On Gina's, I receive Gina's I think it's every single day. Is it Believe in You? Is that what it's
yep,
called?
believe in you today. It's an instant inspiration.
And it's wonderful. It's always positive. It's always beautiful colors, a beautiful design, and
Thank you.
it's a gift from God to receive it and to receive you. So thank you.
I haven't mentioned that in a while. I do an instant inspiration, everyone. It's a daily email, very quick, cute picture, usually 1 or 2 lines. It's just an instant inspiration. If you're interested, go to believeinouttoday.com, or you can reach out to me and email me, and I'll send you the link. And by all means, it's a free email that you can just get, and it's just a quick read that just gives you that little bit of smile.
It's an
That's
everyday gift to receive from
Thank
the
you.
universe, from
Thank you.
you.
I
Thank you.
enjoy doing it,
I
and I
love
do.
it.
I enjoy doing it. Thank you.
You're
So
welcome.
people can reach me here, and I wanted to just say that here at New Thought Media Network, we are a platform that is here because of people like you that are watching. It is people, you can go to ntmedia.org, and we have been updating. Rev Robert and the team have been doing so much on the website. It's so exciting. So you can go watch all the shows that you'd want to, all the prior episodes, including the one you did with me at this point about a year and a half ago.
Oh my goodness.
And people, I know it's been a while, but people can go back and watch all of the past episodes. And it's all free. So again, ntmedia.org, there's a donate button, whether it's once a month or whether it's, a one-time donation. We appreciate anything to be able to help us get that word of joy, of truth out there. So thank you to NT Media, network. It's a gift to be part of it, and you know there's good news here, and I always encourage people to just keep watching. There's so much good. And if catch me if you can on our my peace circle on Monday nights, where we find our own way to peace, to be that change we wish to see in the world. So thank you, Joanne, for being here. Thank you so much for sharing the good news that you do. And just everyone, I wish you a beautiful day and week, and all of the love that you deserve. May
Thank you.
you find that soulmate that honors you and helps you be that shining star that you are. Blessings and love. Namaste.
Namaste.